This is Quality Over Quantity. I am host Samuel Monte Young-Bey.
I've got enough stress on my own.
Your heart rate change.
This is a series entitled Treaties with the United States and Morocco and/or Moors. And today's treaty is a little bit lengthier than the others, but it is the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between the United States of America and the Bey and subjects of Tripoli of Barbary, November 4th, 1796 and January 3rd, 1797. This read is going to be juicy. I can already tell with the title of it. This is the translation of the 1796 Treaty of Peace and Friendship between the United States of America and the Bey and subjects of Tripoli of Barbary. Now, to hear the Bey, B-E-Y, as we all know, as host, my appellation is Samuel Monte Young-Bey. And I do not adhere to the warship name or wardship name on my birth certificate, social security card. That is a nom de guerre. That is a corporate entity. A corporate entity, a fiction, a non-living being. It is a modern day connotative definition for a noun, place or thing, person, when a person is actually a verb, a living, breathing being. But just to see Bey in the title of this is already bringing a slight bit of excitement to me, because I am a Bey. I am a Bey. We are all, for that extent, L's and Beys and of Moorish descent. Okay, so Tripoli, Peace and Friendship Treaty signed at Tripoli, November 4th, 1796, and at Algiers, January 3rd, 1797. Senate advice and consent to ratification, June 7th, 1797, ratified by the President of the United States, June 10th, 1797, entered into force June 10th, 1797, proclaimed by the President of the United States, June 10th, 1797, superseded April 17th, 1806 by Treaty of June 4th, 1805. H. Statute 154, Treaty Series 358. Translation of 1796 Treaty of Peace and Friendship between the United States of America and the Bey and subjects of Tripoli and Barbary. Article 1. There is a firm and perpetual peace and friendship between the United States of America and the Bey and subjects of Tripoli of Barbary, made by the free consent of both parties and guaranteed by the most potent Dey, D-E-Y, and Regency of Algiers. Article 2. If any goods belonging to any nation with which either of the parties is at war shall be loaded on board a vessel belonging to the other party, they shall pass free, and no attempt shall be made to take or detain them. Article 3. If any citizen, subject, or effects belonging to either party shall be found on board a prize vessel taken from an enemy by the other party, such citizens or subjects shall be set at liberty and the effects restored to the owners. Article 4. Proper passports are to be given to all vessels of both parties by which they are to be known, and considering the distance between the two countries, 18 months from the date of this treaty shall be allowed for procuring such passports. During this interval, the other papers belonging to such vessels shall be sufficient for their protection. So passports are for vessels, meaning ships, not for living beings. Article 5. A citizen or subject of either party having brought a prize vessel condemned by the other party or by any other nation, the certificate of condemnation or bill of sale shall be a sufficient passport for such vessel for 1 year, this being a reasonable time for her to procure a proper passport. Article 6. Vessels of either party putting into the ports of the other and having need of provisions or other supplies, they shall be furnished at the marketplace, and if any such vessel shall so put in from a disaster at sea and have occasion to repair, she shall be at liberty to land and re-embark her cargo without paying any duty, but in no case shall she be compelled to land her cargo. Article 7. Should a vessel of either party be cast on the shore of the other, all proper assistance shall be given to her and her people. No pillage shall be allowed. The property shall remain at the disposition of the owners and the crew, protected and secured till they can be sent to their country. Article 8. If a vessel of either party should be attacked by an enemy within gunshot of the forts of the other, she shall be defended as much as possible. If she be in port, she shall not be seized or attacked when it is in the power of the other party to protect her, and when she proceeds to sea, no enemy shall be allowed to pursue her from the same port within 24 hours after her departure. Article 9. The commerce between the United States and Tripoli, the protection to be given to merchants, masters of vessels, and seamen, the reciprocal right of establishing consuls in each country, and the privileges, immunities, and jurisdictions to be enjoyed by such consuls are declared to be on the same footing with those of the most favorable nations respectively. Article 10. The money and presents demanded by the Bey of Tripoli as a full and satisfactory consideration on his part and on the part of his subjects for this treaty of perpetual peace and friendship are acknowledged to have been received by him previous to his signing the same, according to a receipt which is hereto annexed, except such part as is promised on the part of the United States to be delivered and paid by them on the arrival of their consul in Tripoli. Of each part a note is likewise hereto affixed, and no pretense of any periodical tribute or further payment is ever to be made by either party. Article 11. As the government of the United States of America is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion, Article 11. As the government of the United States of America is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion, as it has in itself no character of enmity against the laws, religion, and tranquility of Muslim, and as the said states never have entered into any war or act of hostility against any Mohammedan nation, it is declared by the parties that no pretext arising from religious opinion shall ever produce an interruption of the harmony existing between the two countries. Article 11 just stated that the United States of America is not founded on the Christian religion. So this is not a Christian nation. See the beauty that unfolds from these treaties, informations that does not hold. We are, one nation under God. What God is that? If this is not a Christian nation, then why is Christianity so prevalent in this nation? And it's not a Christian. This government is not a Christian government. But they do a Christian prayer. All of the presidents go to the same Catholic church while in their presidency. I think it's St. Vincent's or St. Mary's or one of them.
Get my bearings about face. Standing in a corner of the space was a nigga with no faith, but he spoke to me openly, hoping to see if I was just a lost soul or standing at a crossroads. You know, he asked with a laugh if I wouldn't mind getting my ass up out his chair. Seems I was in the wrong spot with no countenance.
Every sitting president has gone to this church and sat there. It is the church of presidents. When you're in the White House, this is the church you go to. No matter what your former church was, this is the church you go to for a period of time. You will be appearing there on certain mass days. You feel me? It's crazy, man. But it's not a Christian religion that this nation, this corporation is founded on. They have no enmity and no hostility against any of the Mohammedan nations. That's crazy. Article 12. In case of any dispute arising from a violation of any of the articles of this treaty, no appeal shall be made to arms, nor shall war be declared on any pretext whatever. But if the council residing at the place where the dispute shall happen shall not be able to settle the same, and an amicable reference shall be made to the mutual friend of the parties, the Dey of Algiers, the parties hereby engaging to abide by his decision, and he by virtue of his signature to this treaty engages for himself and successors to declare the justice of the case according to the true interpretation of the treaty, and to use all the means in his power to enforce the observance of the same. Signed and sealed at Tripoli of Barbary, the 3rd day of Jumad in the year of the Hijra 1211, corresponding with the 4th day of November 1796, by Joseph Bashaw, Mohammed Bey, Mamet, Treasurer, Ahmet, Minister of Marine, Ahmet, Chamberlain, Ali, Chief of the Divina, Soliman, Kaya, Galil, Jin of the troop, Mohammed, Com of the city, or Commissioner General of the troops and Commissioner of the city, and Mamet, Secretary. Signed and sealed at Algiers, the 4th day of Argid 1211, corresponding with the 3rd day of January 1797, by Hassan Bashar Day, and by the agent plenipotentiary of the United States of America, Joel Barlow, and his seal. The receipt. Praise be to God and company. The present writing done by our hand and delivered to the American Captain O'Brien makes known that he has delivered to us 40,000 Spanish dollars, 13 watches of gold, silver, and pins back, 5 rings, of which 3 of diamonds, 1 of sapphire, and 1 which with a watch in it, 140 pickets of cloth, and 4 caftans of brocade, and these an amount of the peace concluded with the American, given at Tripoli in Barbary, the 20th day of Judam 1211, corresponding with the 21st day of November 1796. Jusuf Bashan Bey, whom God exalt. The foregoing is a true copy of the receipt given by Jusuf Bashan Bey of Tripoli, Hassan Bashan Dey of Algiers. The foregoing is a literal translation of the writing in Arabic on the opposite page. Joel Barbary. The note. On the arrival of the Council of the United States in Tripoli, he is to deliver to Jusuf Bashan Bey, and this is what he had to deliver: 12,000 Spanish dollars, 5 hawsers, 8-inch, 3 cables, 10-inch, 25 barrels tar, 25 dough pitch, 10 dough rosin, 500 pine boards, 500 oak dough or whatever it is, 10 masts, without any measure mentioned, suppose for vessels with 10 to 300 ton, from 2 to 300 ton, 12 yards, 50 bolts, canvas, and 4 anchors. And these, when delivered, are to be in full of all demands on his part or on that of his successors for the United States according as it is expressed in the 10th article of the following treaty, and no further demands of tributes, presents, or payments shall ever be made. Translated from the Arabic on the opposite page, which is signed and sealed by Hassan Beshan Day of Algiers, the 4th day of Argib 1211, or the 3rd day of January 1797 by Joel Barlow. Approval of U.S. Minister at Lisbon. This goes in. to all to whom these presents shall come and be made known, whereas the underwritten David Humphreys hath been duly appointed Commissioner Plenipotentiary by letters patent under the signature of the President and seal of the United States of America, dated the 30th of March 1795, for negotiating and concluding a treaty of peace with the most illustrious, the Bashan lords and governors of the city and kingdom of Tripoli, whereas by a writing under his hand and sealed date the 10th of February 1796, he did, in conformity to the authority committed to me, therefore, constitute and appoint Joel Barlow and Joseph Donaldson, junior agents, jointly and separately in the business aforesaid. Whereas the annexed treaty of peace and friendship was agreed upon, signed and sealed at Tripoli of Barbary on the 4th of November 1796, in virtue of the powers aforesaid and guaranteed by the most potent Dey and Regency of Algiers, and whereas the same was certified at Algiers on the 3rd day of January 1797, with the signature and seal of Hassan Bashan Dey and of Joel Barlow on the one of the agents aforesaid, in the absence of the other. Now know ye that I, David Humphreys, Commissioner Plenipotentiary aforesaid, do approve and conclude the said treaty, and every article and clause therein contained, reserving the same nevertheless for the final ratification of the President of the United States of America, by and with the advice and consent of the Senate of the United States, in testimony whereof I have signed the same with my name and seal, at the city of Lisbon, this day of February 1797, David Humphreys, his seal, United States Minister at Lisbon. And the rest of this is just a translation of basically the same thing that came from the Moorish side. Once again, these documents, these treaties are exposing a lot, and these treaties must be known. The reason that, once again, that I'm bringing these treaties to the forefront is because in agreement and obedience to the demand made by and the command made by Noble Drew Ali, that we know these things, that we research these things, that we study civics and history. It is very important that we present, that this information is presented, because it will inform us and it will arouse the amnesiac Moors that exist right now in the America. This may be the first time that you are hearing about these treaties, and that's cool, but that doesn't mean it has to be the furthest you go, because you can dig into these deeper. And once again, I stress, read these on your own. You can Google these treaties very simply. You can pull them up and you can read them with your own eyes and look at them and see that this dude is not just making up. Samuel Monte Young-Bey is not just out here making up no random shit just because he can. These are actual documents that were written for our record. And it was stated that they should be kept as record. You feel me? So it was for us that these documents were kept and protected. And so it is our obligation to dig them up, find them by any and every means, and research them, gain a complete understanding of them, and then teach them, because our memories have been wiped. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more like it, subscribe to my channel and me get a like down here so YouTube will know what's going on. And hit that notification bell also. And I mean, leave a comment too. Alright.
Life completely fucked. New York Stock Exchange, instantly your numbers drop. Souls that remain, depression is great. They go berserk, expecting it to stay the same, knowing that it'll never work. It's the battle of the gods when you win your world at odds.